Hey guys, today we're gonna talk about flat bar versus drop bar. I'm gonna give you my thoughts and which one I think is the best for backpacking trip. This video is for backpacking lovers. I just finished the Tour Divide, which is a race between Banff, Canada and the border of Mexico, about 2,600 miles. And before leaving for this race, I had this fight and this debate in my mind. I was like, am I going on the drop or a flat bar? I've been using a flat bar my whole life. I'm more of a mountain biker. But after this race, I had the chance to meet up to so many people and see so many rigs and try new bikes. And now I can tell you what are my thoughts. You guys told me that you love that I get to the point and be as quick as possible. So now I can tell you that I prefer the flat bar any day and for all the other races that I'm gonna do. I just made a video about gravel versus MTB, and this video has been super popular. I think that the debate between gravel and MTB is a big debate right now because gravel is so like trendy. The debate is even more crazier when you think that people are starting to put flat bar on a gravel bike. A lot of racers are using drop bar on MTB. So this whole thing is getting a bit crazy. That's why I want to make those videos. It's to help you guys, like with people that tried it, to make up your mind, because if you read online, you're like, what am I doing wrong? You know, what's the best bikes today? Let's do this. I'm gonna give you like every advantage of every single setup, and after that, you're gonna be able to decide which is the best for you. First thing, a flat bar is gonna be much more easier to fit some luggage in the front. Because of the nature of drop bar, the luggage is like kind of compressed and limited to the space between those two drops on the either side. On a flat bar, you don't have those. You can use like those big like two bag kind of thing, and you can use like regular stuffing sack and compression bag that you can put in the front. It's much easier to fill up the bags on the side and stuff like that. For putting luggage in the front, I really think flat bar have an advantage right there. Before leaving for the tour, a lot of those videos said that the Tour Divide is not a technical trail. And with the addition of the CDT this year, I really think that, man, it's more technical than I thought, okay? Yeah, it's pretty technical. Those sections, like if you're descending for miles and miles and miles in chunky stuff, your hands are gonna get like tired. On a drop bar, I felt that sometimes because you cannot grip the bar with all your fingers like this, and I really think you get more control on a flat bar. My background is in mountain biking and trial riding. For me, it's much more natural to go on a flat bar like this. In technical stuff, I really think that you have more control on a flat bar. And especially with those brakes, I talked about it in my other video, is with a flat bar, you get more options for brakes. So pretty much every drop bar on the market, the only brakes you're gonna get is dual piston brakes. On a flat bar, you can get like crazy downhill racing, like caliper and brakes and big rotors. So in races that your bike is super loaded and you're descending for a long time, I think having like more powerful brakes, more control on the bike on descent is a good thing. You're gonna get less tired, you're gonna be more confident, you have less opportunity to crash. That's it. I really think it's a better system. In those videos, I wanna talk about stuff that I never heard anywhere else, so let's do this. When you're descending on a drop bar, you cannot put all your fingers or around the grips like this. So your fingers are like kind of always open. So if you want to pull on the bar to get over a root or a rock or something, it's super tricky like to get the balance of not over gripping the bar and being able to brake and not cut your fingers like this. Like this, you can get like your finger stuck between the bar and the brakes. I think for non-technical people, I really think the flat bar is much more like easy, and you're gonna get more control, and it's easier to get the brakes like working properly. Let's do a little segue now. Is if you're into drop bar and you cannot decide between Sram and Shimano, I would say that Shimano, if you want to go mechanical, Shimano has a better system, and I'm going to tell you why. On SRAM, the only way to control your shifting is with the shifter right here. When you're descending, and let's say you want to change gear while you're braking, it's kind of awkward because this lever is not moving. So Shimano, I really think it's better for technical, like if you're into technical stuff on a drop bar, it's much more better with Shimano because you can shift while you're braking. So you're braking and the whole lever is moving, and you can shift while you're braking going down. And you're saying, why are you shifting while going down? It's because sometimes you're going down and there's a hill coming up and you want to lower the gear while braking, and I really think Shimano is just better. So if you're into drop bar, and mechanical, because of course SRAM has their AXS system, which is super great. But if you're into mechanical, the system that I prefer for long distance bikepacking trip, you can repair it, and it's easy to get around with. I would go with the Shimano system for sure. Another thing that I talk in another video is my cold fingers and what I do to help my Renault syndrome while I'm backpacking. But a lot of you guys, I'm sure you have some trouble with your hands when it's getting colder. So what I could say with drop bar, it's way much easier to shift and brake while having like big gloves or big mitts like this. I know it's kind of crazy. Maybe you're like, man, I'm not gonna use those kind of mitts on a backpacking trip. But if you're doing a race like the Tour Divide or the Silk Road or stuff like this, you're gonna encounter like some crazy snow and weather changes. Having a mitt like this, a waterproof mitts, can help you. And on drop bar, it's gonna be much more easier to shift like this, okay? So on a flat bar, if you're using AXS system, you're gonna only use your thumb like this. So maybe if you're using AXS, you can use a mitt. But if you're mechanical, I think a drop bar gonna have like an advantage for big mitts or big gloves, like winter gloves like this. Okay, now let's talk about aero positions. A lot of people are gonna say that drop bar have an advantage for aero, and I would say yes, of course. But the thing is, in those races, with the speed that we're going, I don't think the aero is the most important thing. I think comfort is the most important thing. And with a flat bar, of course you're gonna be wider, so your shoulder are gonna be wider. So for aero is not the best, but you can simulate. This is my next setup for Silk Road next year. And what I did is I put those little horn like this to simulate kind of a drop bar position. Like if you think about it, this is flat bar, and when my hands are like this, it's kind of a drop bar position. And what I love about this is with my mechanical shifting, I can actually like use my shifter here while I'm in this position right there, okay? Maybe it's hard to tell, but I'm gonna try to show you. So I'm in this position, and with the Shimano MTB shifter, in this position, I can shift with my fingers like this, so I can brake, and I can shift with my little fingers like this, because Shimano, they go in either way like this. So I just discovered this, so I'm gonna be able to have this position on the side, be right like this in the middle. So super, super nice to have like a lot of position. In those videos, I'm trying to show like new stuff and some of my new rigs and stuff that I discovered with blood and sweat and tears. So if you want to subscribe, like the video, add some comments, it's gonna help me so much. So I'm gonna give you guys all my tricks. I don't care. I want to help you guys. And I'm at this point in my life that I want to share my knowledge to people. And if you're stoked and you're like, I've never seen this, just write it into the comments and I'm gonna keep going. This is going to be pretty much my setup for Silk Road next year. Again, I'm gonna be able to use this position, this position, this position, and sometime with my elbow on the bar like this to be aero. I don't think I'm gonna put aero bar for my next race because of weight. This is gonna be in another video, let's say, but for today, I can tell you that this setup is my go-to for now. So I love this setup. I'm gonna maybe cut the bar a bit to be a bit not as wide, let's say, a bit narrower, but this is pretty much my setup for my next race. As for the position for your hands on the drop bar, of course, it's amazing because you can use this, you can use this, you can use this, and you can use this. But I can tell you that if you have back problem, like me, I have a bad back injury, lower back injury, I can tell you that I'm pretty much never in the drops. Never. Maybe I went into the drops for some technical descent and maybe a few miles when I had like big crazy wind in the face. But if you have back problem, this is gonna be kind of useless because it's gonna get to you into this like really aggressive position. And for me, it's not worth it. Maybe for other people it's worth it, but for me it's not working. So yes, drop bar, they have a lot of position, but if you have back problem, it's a no-no. Another advantage of flat bar is I really think that this whole system with the MTB shifter like this is much more easier to do some maintenance of if there's something going on. Let's say you break your cable, your shifting cable into a MTB shifter. It's much easier to open and like to do some maintenance in the field with it. You can take those grips with just some screws like this. You take out the whole system, and it's much easier to open the shifter on a MTB setup than on a drop bar with all the tape and everything. So it happened to me on the Tour Divide. There's a movie coming up that I'm working super hard on, and at pretty much near the end, my cable in my shifter broke, and it was a pain to get it fixed and to be able to retrieve like the head of the cable in the shifter. Those drop bar shifter are more intricate and more complicated to work with. On an MTB, I really think it's easier to do some maintenance and be able to fix it in the field. Let's finish this video with the last thing that I wanted to talk about today. This is the killer points that I'm gonna use flat bar in the future. Are you ready? During the Tour Divide, I rode with a lot of single speeders, those crazy riders who only use one speed. And pretty much every single speeder that I ever saw in my life, they are using flat bar. When I was going up those crazy hills and in rocks and stuff with my drop bar, I was trying to get some leverage with the bike like this. Again, I'm used to the MTB style setup, And with the drop bar that are kind of narrower like this, and with the grips like this in the front, it was so awkward to get some leverage with the bike. And those crazy guys with single speed, they all use flat bar with some grips at the end like this, and they were torquing this bike like that, going up like this. And when I started the cross-country racing when I was a teenager, I had like those horns on the side of the bar, and it always helped me like going up steep stuff. I really think like getting much more leverage with a wider bar and those grips at the end of the bar, it's amazing to save your legs during the tour. I was like, those hills sometimes were miles and miles and miles long. And when you cannot like go up and use the leverage into your arms and put some load into your arms, it was all in the legs, all in the freaking legs. And I was like, man, my legs are so tired. And sometime I was riding with a guy named Pete on the single speed, and he was going up like this, and I was like, oh man, I wish I had my flat bar. So in the future, I'm gonna use a flat bar for sure, just because of that, because of the leverage I can get going steep stuff in rocks and chunky stuff. So this is it. This is my decision, and I don't know if you like it. Maybe you're more of a drop bar person. Let me know. Have you tried both? Let me know in the comments, and let me know what is your final answer about all of this. My final thought today would be that I found my perfect setup, but maybe it's not your perfect setup. So the best thing is to try a lot of things. And I'm so happy I tried the Tour Divide with a drop bar, because I was like, man, if there's one chance I can try it out on a big distance like this, it would be the Tour Divide. I'm so glad I finished. And now I can say like, I can say like the good thing and the bad thing about the both setup, but at least I know what I prefer. And sometime maybe in the future, there's gonna be a race that I'm gonna use a drop bar for a specific reason and a flat bar for other reasons. But I would tell you guys, just try it out. Try a bike that maybe it's not yours, your friend bike. Go on a ride, or do what I did with my bike, with my Salsa Cutthroat. You just you swipe it around. You can transform it in a drop or a flat bar, whatever. So the important thing is just go ride, and don't tell like any like excuses to not go riding because you don't have the perfect setup. Just go out there, have fun, guys. See you out there. Leave some comments, some likes, and I'm gonna work on other videos like this. Thank you so much, guys. Have a nice day.